Every time I walk up to this truck, I'm kind of reminded how silly things are. And hi, nice to see you too. And how grateful I am to Ford for creating what essentially is the genesis of the super truck, the real mass-produced genesis of the super truck in the Ford Raptor. The first generation arrived for the 2010 model year, if memory serves correctly. And I distinctly remember driving it with the 5.4 liter V8 and thinking that it was just a completely insane truck. It just didn't make any sense that a truck like that would make as much noise and be driven with, I don't know, it just brings out the aggression in the person behind the wheel, and well, at least it certainly did for me. And then when I drove the subsequent generations, you know, with the 6.2, and the 3.5 twin turbo EcoBoost V6, I still couldn't believe that things could get so nearly out of hand when it comes to just like a full-size truck. And I say thank you to Ford for bringing the Raptor, because without it, we would not have the Ram TRX. It's impossible to not talk about one or the other without bringing up one or the other. And I guess further thanks goes to Stellantis for actually doing the TRX the way they did. I mean, they just could have made, you know, a slightly more aggressive power wagon, you know, with the 392, but no, they went all out Hellcat. And well, essentially, Ford had no choice at that point but to hit back with this specific Raptor. Yes, my friends, as it says in the caption, this is a 2023 Ford Raptor R. It is, it's kind of weird. It's a series of incredible vehicles that I've driven back to back. And the one just before this, actually two vehicles before this, was perhaps the most insane vehicle I've ever driven. I'm talking specifically, you know, like very distinct, very purpose-built vehicles. And I'm talking about the 911 Dakar. And I took it off-roading and it blew my mind, and it's kind of weird right now. I'm going to be very upfront with you. My week is coming to a very quick close and end, and I don't know at this very moment if I'm going to take the Raptor R mudding or not. Maybe we'll get a surprise. I'll get a surprise as this video progresses, but in the present, I'm not sure. And that would be a huge shame if I didn't do that, admittedly, because this truck is just completely ballistic. It is excessive, like the TRX, in absolutely every way except for one. Well, it's only 700 horsepower compared to what you get in the TRX. You'll have to Google that. Well, you probably know anyway, but I'm having way too much fun driving around in this truck, and my kids are losing their minds just for the noises and the presence of this thing, just the color. And the color, I'll tell you right now, this is a 2023 only color. It doesn't come back in 2024. So had I wanted to cheat and tell you that this was a 24, it would have been a big fat lie, and I could not have lived with myself. The bottom line for the introduction is that this thing is absolutely unnecessary, but if I had stupid money, I'll tell you now, I think I would get a Raptor R over a TRX, if mostly because it's less imposing and intimidating than the TRX. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the Raptor. Anyhow, in the following video, we'll do a couple loops of this, I mean, admittedly insanely good looking truck. 37-inch tires when you get the Raptor R. 37s! And then we're going to go for a noisy drive. I can't tell you if it's off-road now, but let's hope that time is on my side. Please hang in there. All right, yeah, I know I skipped Lightning before as first super truck, but I don't know. The Lightning is different now, and the Raptor, well, you know what I'm trying to say. And yes, obviously I found an off-roading spot, right, in the urban jungle. I'll do a quick first tour of the Raptor R. Yeah, it's just stunning. By the way, the color is Code Orange Metallic. unique to 2023. So if ever you see one, you'll know that it's a 23. There are still a bunch of colors available for 24 and other colors for 23, but I don't know, this color kind of does it lots of justice. Yeah, I kind of found a few puddles. How you doing? So I did get it a little bit dirty. I still don't know at this very point if I am going to actually take it off-roading. I'm sorely tempted to do so, but for the time being, still not sure. Yeah, you know, the Raptor Fair, it's just flared out to tomorrow, and the hood, the bulge, you know, just all good visual stuff. Pricing starts in the US in 2024, $76,775. So in Canada, 24 pricing is out, starts at $108,895. That's for the regular Raptor, the wee Raptor, right? 2023 pricing, $105,275 for the 3.5 EcoBoost Raptor. And when you move up to the R, you tacked on $43,740. So essentially, the Raptor that sits before you right now by the Champlain Bridge, by the way, if you were wondering, between Montreal and Brossard, $150,000. Like I said, stupid money, and I meant stupid money. What you do get, obviously, we're just gonna stick to the R. I mean, it's a supercharged 5.2 V8 from the Shelby Mustang GT500. That's correct. You got a bunch of stuff, right? 12-inch touchscreen. You got a digital IP, Sync 4 technology, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a whole bunch of other stuff that you would expect in this vehicle. Visually, I don't think. Well, yeah. So it's a Super Crew with a 5.5 foot long box, which is the only way you can get this Raptor. And for all intents and purposes, it's absolutely perfect. Might as well talk about the wheels, right? These are 17-inch wheels. And beadlock capable, and yeah, 37-inch tires overall. It's some massive stuff, huge exhaust tips. Love the tow hooks. Just everything is total business. Yeah, and I like how they did Raptor R like that in the rear, whereas in the front, you know, zoom. I would probably do without the running boards. But this is what they did in the front. I really like the fact that they just put an R. I don't know, truly, this is the definition of badass. I guess we can do just a tour on the inside quickly. I mean, everything else about the Raptor R is all F-150 as you would expect. So plenty of room in the Super Crew cab. Kids, plenty of room. So you got the leather and the suede, a B&O audio system, also part of this business. This is a very typical F1 or F-Series materials. I really like the look and even the touch. I've said this before, I'll just move right to the front, that this is what Ford does absolutely best. They're full-size trucks, and obviously this is 90+% of their profits and revenues and all that business, so it makes sense that they go all out for this. But I mean, you know, pretty sure that's fake, but it doesn't matter. It looks good. Again, the grill's B&O, seats ultra supportive and comfortable, massive bolsters, multi-way power lumbar adjustments. Absolutely love it. The only thing that I don't understand is the performance steering wheel. It's not heated. Unless I can't find the button, I can't find the button for the heated steering wheel. We'll just slide on aboard, start it up. Okay, what I like about this, I mean, this is your typical 12-inch screen, as I said, you know, maybe except for the message right there. But everything about Sync 4, it's just brilliant. Everything works. It's very intuitive. It makes all kinds of sense. Brake bias, all-wheel drive, 4x4, all of that, dual zone climate control. It's all there. The important stuff happens right here on the steering wheel. So this is what you need to know, okay? So those are your steering modes. And I'll just zoom in there. So you have variable steering modes, okay? And then just below it, this is the dampers. This is what I'm going to talk to you about a little bit more, and you're going to focus. There you go. So that's the dampers, okay? The Fox shocks. They will be able, they can be set in normal, sport, and off-road. That's some pretty serious business. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit more about what the dampers can do. And then there's this one. This is probably my favorite one. So there's normal, sport, Baja, but quiet is actually, yeah, I was talking, so maybe you won't notice, but quiet is actually really quiet. Normal is okay, sport is my go-to, and then Baja. The problem with Baja is that well, there's that, because it's so loud. The drone, the rumble is insane. So yeah, Sport is the best way to go. And everything else is pretty straightforward as far as Ford's concerned. The F series, lovely storage, your wireless charger, massive storage here. There's no point in opening it up. And I still really like the cutout in the doors. Visibility is really, really good up here. And frankly, I think there's nothing else to add except I hope I'm going off-roading. Believe me, you, all three of you watching right now, no one is more disappointed than I that I'm not taking the Raptor R off-roading. As we all know, sometimes life gets in the way of life, and well, that's what's happened. However, having said that, we know that even a Raptor R will probably spend the vast majority of its life on the highway, in a city setting, or whatnot. So this is, let's call it relevant as far as a Raptor R review can be. Maybe not the most interesting, I'll give you that, but even so. All right, so the key, the heart, the R, is the Mustang GT500 supercharged 5.2 liter V8, which in the Stang puts out 760 HP and 650 torques. In the traffic, obviously. In the Raptor R, it puts out 700 horsepower at 6,650 RPM and 640 pound-feet of torque at 4,250 RPM. That's a different pulley, a revised supercharger, and so on and so forth, for a little bit more mid-range and low-end torque and power, which totally makes sense in a truck like this. As I said, early on, well, it's down on the TRX, which has 2 extra horsepower and 10 extra pound-feet of torque. However, from a full liter more in displacement. So I guess Ford is doing something right. 10-speed automatic transmission, which essentially all F-150s have. It's a gem of a transmission. It loves to be beaten on or just given the opportunity to effortlessly shift. It's great. The Raptor R, you get the nice paddles too, and the manual mode. It is brilliant. 4x4 system, obviously 2-speed transfer case, shift on the fly, rear locking differential. It's well equipped, obviously, for the job. Big disc brakes all around, 2 piston in the front, 1 piston in the back. It's got monster equipment to do monster truck things, which it can do very, very well. The key element, the other key element, is the Fox live valve suspension, which I guess the best way to put it, it kind of flattens the earth. Now you got normal, sport, and off-road. I like going into off-road because I don't know, it's not that it's more supple in a way, but it's more forgiving, because essentially it's designed to, at higher speeds, just absorb all the bumps that you might encounter when you're going off-roading or doing the Baja things. But what's incredible is even with the 37-inch tires, I mean, you get 13 inches of wheel travel in the front, 14 in the rear. Ground clearance is 13.1 inches, which increases to 14. The travel increases to 14 inches in the front, 15 in the rear with the 35s. So I'd still stick with the 37s. There's no two ways about that. 37s for the win. But it's the level of comfort. Any vehicle off-road designed with these purpose-built suspensions, Multimatic from, for example, with GM, they just, not only do they create a ride quality that is, in some cases, I mean, luxury car level good, but they keep the tires in contact. I mean, big, massive, knobby tires, they still stay in contact with the road. Point is that this thing handles impressively well, despite the fact that it's designed for off-roading. Now, I forgot to show you the drive modes, which are on the 4x4, or the 4x4 selector panel here, right? So you start in the middle at normal, you go left and you get into sport, then there's tow haul. By the way, excuse me, it'll tow up to 8,700 pounds, haul up to 1,400 pounds. It's not your go-to tow vehicle, but it can if you want to. And then there's also slippery for like today's conditions, but no, you don't want to go in 4x4, you want to stay 2-wheel drive because you're silly like me. If you go in the other direction, from normal, go to the right, and you get into off-road. And that's when things get serious, 4x4 shift in progress, the transmission downshifts, all kinds of things happen. And then there's off-road, sorry, now I'm playing around, there's a Baja mode. And yeah, okay, so things are getting all kind of weird because it's trying to shift, but it can't, because to go into 4 low in Baja mode and off-road, I have to slow to 5 kilometers an hour. Anyway, I'm gonna go back into normal. Sorry, I should have showed you that before. I didn't use any of those modes except for shifting into 4x4 in normal, and I know it's tragic. Also tragic is fuel consumption, but we do not speak of that. But if I go back to the suspension, I mean, the 5-link in the rear, the double wishbone up front, it's insane. I mean, okay, when you yank on the steering wheel, responsiveness is not the right word, but things happen. And no matter what, I mean, if the tires stay in contact, yes, it will understeer. Yes, it will oversteer if you get on you goose the gas too much. And in these wet, cold conditions, oh my goodness, the rear end is having a hard time hooking up, for example. Yeah, so what else can I add? I don't know. I think if I go back to what I said, and the dampers, whatever they said. Okay, yeah, I touched on that. What I said, compared to the Ram TRX, there's something more or less intimidating about the Raptor over the Ram. I don't exactly know what it is. It seems more manageable size-wise, despite being very similar in size. And I don't know. One thing maybe that comes to mind is the fact that there's very, very little audible supercharger whine compared to the Ram. So that might be part of the intimidation factor that the Ram has over the Raptor. But never mind. This thing is insanely fast, unbelievably good, damn good looking, ridiculously expensive. And again, if I had stupid money, I think I'd get the Raptor R over the Ram. I can't believe I'm saying that, but although after spending it's not now 6 days with the Raptor R, yeah, I'm really sold on the idea. I think I've touched on everything. Thank you to all 3 of you.